Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 and our chats with Emily as we're calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We're using the Johnson edition to do it. We are now at poem 188, Make Me a Picture of the Sun. It's possible that we are back to a remembrance poem of a kind where maybe Emily, as a little girl, is playing with her sister Vinny, and the two of them are trying to get through a long winter, and maybe on a winter's day they begin to play around with speculating about the spring and the summer. And in many ways, this is a kind of prototypical Emily Dickinson poem that can be read as simply as, hey, I can hardly wait till winter is over, to something a little bit more profound about issues of hope, and maybe even a question of theodicy and why it must be that we have to go through winter, either literally or maybe more symbolically or metaphorically so. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already studied our introductory set of comments. I'm hopeful that you've as well worked through the preceding 187 lectures we just finished with how many times. Now, the russet is mentioned in this poem, and the russet is the apple. Some have called it the last apple of the year, if you will. It's the last apple to appear in the year. It proves that winter, in fact, is here. Now, John Moore has put it this way in a book called The Season of the Year. Quote, "Last on the bare November boughs come the old-fashioned moss-brown russets, wrinkled like the faces of ancient peasants, which will be as sweet and brown in March as they are at Christmas." So as we play the game of this poem, we're thinking about russets, we're thinking about apples, we're thinking about Milton and Paradise Lost, no doubt. But the poem has an interesting tone to it. Make me a picture of the sun so I can hang it in my room and make believe I'm getting warm when others call it day. Draw me a robin on a stem so I am hearing him. I'll dream, and when the orchards stop their tune, put my pretense away. Say if it's really warm at noon, whether it's buttercups that skim or butterflies that bloom, then skip the frost upon the lea and skip the russet on the tree. Let's play those never come. Now, I love the fact that she uses the word play. Of course, it should probably sound more like let's pray those never come. And yet, here, the word play, I think, is significant. Notice there's a very playful tone to this. It begins with, make me a picture of the sun. In other words, draw me a picture of the sun. I'm going to hang it in my room. I'm going to make believe, it's an important phrase, I'm getting warm when others call it day. In other words, in the middle of a long winter, the hope of a spring sunny day can get me through. Then, draw me a robin. Of course, we know about her love of birds. Draw me a robin on a stem. So I'm hearing him, I'll dream. And again, dream goes with play, right? And when the orchards stop their tune, put my pretense away. In other words, this is the way I'm going to get through a winter day. Say if it's really warm at noon, whether it's buttercups that skim. In other words, give me some information about this imaginary spring-summer day that you're drawing for me, or butterflies that bloom. In other words, and again, it's wonderful that it's butterflies that will bloom. So brilliant in terms of moving from caterpillar to butterfly. We've seen this already in a number of Emily's poems already. Skip the frost upon the lea. Skip the russet on the tree. Again, the last apple of the fall, which proves winter is here. Let's play those. And then the dash with never come. Again, it's a fascinating game of play. You'll remember play from poem 75. When we get to poem 244, Emily will say in one of her most famous lines, "It is easy to work when the soul is at play, but when the soul is in pain, the hearing him put his playthings up makes work difficult then." I love the idea that Emily herself is often in her poems at play. Well, at 2A, what are we going to do with a poem like this for messaging? I think the point here is actually that when winter comes, it's difficult to get through it. Play is sometimes the best remedy. At 2B, I love the playful tone of this. At 3A, well, I can't read a poem like this and not think about Shelley's Ode to the West Wind. What is that final line? If winter come, can spring be far behind? Of course, that's a powerful idea, and we've given full lectures on that poem at learnstrong.net. Finally, to own a little poem like this, at 3B, what's a time when you struggled to get through a winter, and the only way that you could do that was the promise of spring, either literally or maybe figuratively as well? I hope Emily's doing that for you. Thank you.